I'm Richard Fentiman, and I'm the Director of Studies in Law at Queen's College. So I'm one of the 4 people in Queen's who are responsible for teaching law and looking after our law students. Now, as you will know, the basic shape of the Cambridge Law course is the same, effectively, whichever college you go to. But there are some things which I think are distinctive about law at Queen's, not perhaps unique, but certainly distinctive. I think the first thing to point out is that there are 4 law fellows, which means that we have an excellent staff-student ratio. We can look after the students very well. And we also have between 8 and 10 students joining us every year, which is quite important because it means that we have a critical mass of students, and it means to a certain extent they can look after themselves. There is a nice group. I think something that I would point out is that we've always made a point in Queen's of trying to ensure that as many as possible of the subjects which you take for the supervisions, for the tutorials, will be taught in-house. That's to say, by one of us. I mean, sometimes it's inevitable. We have to send students to experts in other colleges because they're more expert than us in certain topics. But we try, especially in the first year, to ensure that as many of the subjects as possible is taught in-house, which means we can take very good care of you. I think the other thing I would say is that we've always taken the view in Queen's that we're not in any way prescriptive about the subjects that you study as options or whether or not you should be a practicing lawyer afterwards. We're just very open-minded, really, about what you want to get out of the course. I think the final thing I'd say about that is that, of course, law is a very practical subject, but this is a university. And so we try to emphasize the academic aspects of the subject and the way that law is important in society in a broader sense. One of the things that we've always tried to do in Queen's is to create the idea of a family of Queen's lawyers. And the family of Queen's lawyers means the Queen's lawyers who are here now, but also the generations of Queen's lawyers who graduated before, many of whom are very successful in the law. And within that family, I think we've always tried to encourage very good relations with our students. We like to think in those supervisions that you're working with us really and trying to solve the problems which are the subject matter of the supervisions. And I think what we've always found about Queen's lawyers is that they are a very coherent, very happy, very hard-working group of people. And I think it's what amazes me is that is almost always the case, year on year. Actually, it has been for as long as I've been there. I suppose the other thing that everybody really wants to know about is what we look for when we're choosing lawyers for Queen's. And I think the most important point to make here is that I know that it's often said that if you want to be a lawyer, you have to have something called a legal mind. In fact, there's nothing called a legal mind. There's no such thing as a legal mind. Any intelligent, motivated person is perfectly capable of being a lawyer if that is what you want to do. So I think first and foremost, what we look for is motivation. We need to make sure that this is something that you want to do, because obviously you're changing course from the subjects which you've been studying previously at school. I think the most important thing apart from that is that in the interview especially, we try to recreate, so far as possible, what a supervision, a tutorial would be like in law in Cambridge. So what we try to do is to see whether you have the kind of analytical skills that we look for, the ability to dissect a problem, to argue in a coherent way, to provide evidence for the statements that you make. So I think I just sum it up by saying that apart obviously from having an excellent school record, we look for motivation, but we also look for the ability to reason, if you like, with the ability to analyze issues and discuss them with us in a coherent way.